Hello Internet. Let's talk about boxes. One of my goals for this year is to come up with some nice packaging for some leather work I've been doing. Some wallets, different kinds of wallets, some bags, handbags, things like that. And to keep it looking nice, elegant, and rich, I thought about creating a nice little wooden box to package these leather items in. Starting with a wallet. Here's one of the wallets I've been working on. Simple design. Logo in the middle, embossed. And I'd like to put that in a box. So here's a sort of first box attempt I've created. And in here, it fits nice, wallet fits great, and it adds a sense of richness rather than just putting something in an envelope or packaging it up in some bubble wrap. Putting it in a nice little wooden box adds some value and makes it a little bit more luxurious. But one of the challenges I've had was trying to determine which material to use for a box. I started with some MDF. Again, it's sort of very cheap, local hardware store, $6 Canadian, 24 by 48. The problem is, it really shows the charring, and the charring comes off very easy. You can see how sort of dirty these are. They need to be quite a lot of sanding involved here to get them to look nice. Although it's very cheap, I don't think it's the best material for these boxes. One of the options I've been trying is from Walmart. Walmart sells these 3 to a pack. And they are, let's have a look. They are 8 by 8 inch squares. So not very big, but very affordable and easy to get to. If you're like me, living in the suburbs, there's a Walmart within walking distance from my house. So I can get them very quickly and they're quite affordable. Downside is the size. And you also have to check, some of them are a little bit more warped than others. So I sort of rummage through the different packages on the shelf to try and get the flattest, straightest pieces I can find. Now these work out quite well. As you can see, this is just something I made this morning, and very little soot comes out onto your finger. It's very clean. It does have a charred edge, which can probably be removed with a little bit of sanding, but keep your hands clean, unlike the MDF. Typical plywood sheets are measured in 3mm thicknesses. Some of them are exactly 3mm, but I find a lot of the time they are not 3mm. This one here, can we see that? .32. Now, this being a little bit over 3mm, the reason why this is important, because of the tolerance level on these boxes, you want something that is going to fit snugly together. Like that. Sort of almost snaps together. A tiny bit of glue will keep this held up nice. Not too loose, not too tight. Doesn't ruin the wood when you try and insert them together. Perfect. So, when buying this wood, take great care in measuring the thickness of the wood to make sure that your tolerances when putting this together are going to be what you want. Not too loose, not too tight. Now let's go to xTool Studio and have a look and see how we create a box in their application. xTool Studio has a great selection of applications here that make it really easy for building something custom without figuring out all the calculations involved in making the product. I'm going to go ahead and click on the box. It's going to load up a basic template of what looks like to be a tissue box. Here we can change the actual width, depth, height, the hole size, material thickness. For my box, this is going to be 130mm by 90mm by 30mm high or tall. I don't want a hole in it, so I'm going to put 0 here and 0 here. And like we talked about earlier, the material thickness is very important. So here I'm actually going to go and put 3.3 millimeters, and I'm going to turn off the pattern here. And that's it. Let's import this to the canvas. And here we have it. At any time I can double click to see the values again, and I can make any changes as I see fit. Once I'm happy, or if I want to make changes to the shape or location, you need to explode the object. And what this is doing, it's taking the grouped panels and making them individual objects that you can then move around the screen and assign different cutting parameters or engraving parameters to them. But once you've done that, once you've exploded an item, you can't change the attributes for the box. So you really want to make sure that you've set your sizing up correctly before clicking explode. And here it is down here. I'm going to click explode. Now, once I select an individual panel, I can move it around. I can set different parameters to it, cut, power, speed, and so on. But for this product, I want the power and speed to be the same for all panels. The best settings I found for my xTool S1 20-watt laser is a power of 80 and a speed of 9. So these are the best settings I found for this type of plywood. They give a nice clean cut, little charring, and the pieces drop out of the sheet of plywood quite easily. Let's go ahead and run this job on a laser cutter. Here's a finished box with my leather wallet inside, and I think you agree the packaging is much better than something cheap like a bubble wrap or simple envelope. It gives it a more luxurious feel, and it looks like there's been a lot of extra time put into making this, and feels like a much more luxurious product because of it. If you have any suggestions for settings or other materials to use for a product like this, please leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you.